from NALA, and my colleague Ailish Martin-Egan is going to facilitate the webinar today on the Erasmus Plus Check-in Takeoff project. So the plan is that Ailish will give you an introduction to the project and will then do a live demonstration of the app. NALA has been leading on the development of this app over the last few months. So just for anyone who's logged in the last minute or two, for the questions, we encourage you to go to the toolbar on the right hand side. If you can't see the toolbar, click on the orange square with the white arrow in it. That opens out your toolbar, and go down to the questions option and type in your question there. If that doesn't suit you, you can alternatively click on the hand symbol beside your name. And at the end, after Ailish done the introduction and should demonstrate the live app, we'll have a look at the questions, and we'll have about 10 minutes of questions and answers. So we expect we finish around 11:40, 11:45. Okay, Ailish, hand over to you. All the best.
Brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. I'm just here to introduce the Check-in Takeoff project, a brief introduction of sort of, I guess, what we've been doing over the last, well, since March 2019, and in particular looking at what NALA has been doing over the last 10 months, which has been developing a new sort of skills and information app. So what is the Check-in Takeoff project? So the Check-in Takeoff project is an Erasmus Plus project. It launched in March 2019 with the aim to create an online experience that supports adults with unmet literacy, numeracy and digital needs. The idea behind the project was to create a prototype, develop that and test it in 3 different countries. So we've been working with partners in Malta and Norway as well. And with this online experience, we had sort of 3 key aims that we were looking at. So we wanted to develop a learner's agency to engage in a learning experience. We wanted to create an environment that builds the confidence of the learner whilst acknowledging the skills that they already have. And we also wanted to motivate learners to take the next step in achieving their goal. And in that, we wanted to ensure that we could signpost learners to relevant online and face-to-face learning opportunities in their different countries. So our approach in the development over the last 10 months is sort of a learner-centered approach. We've tried to make an accessible app that's open source, that will hopefully be available to other countries if it takes off, and something that will be easily adaptable depending on, well, not depending on, regardless of language, cultural differences, something that we can roll out across Europe. We've aligned the app with EQF, so NQF in Ireland, and the main premise of it is that it orients the user to a learning opportunity. And I guess one of the main differences between, I guess, our approach and other assessment tools is that our app is sort of self-assessment. So it's not a pass or fail. It's something that the learner can sort of think about their experience, think about their skills, and then decide, how difficult they might find a task. So our intended audience is adults over 25, and we're looking at adults with NQF level 1 to 4 or EQF level 1 to 3, 5 years plus out of education, and are either unemployed or at the risk of unemployment. So with that target audience in mind, it sort of played a huge part in the design of the app, and I guess the route that we went down in terms of that design. So in terms of the funding, it's co-funded by the European Commission under Erasmus Key Action 3, and we've been working with all these different partners over the last few months. So we've been working very closely together on the project. So in Ireland, that's NALA and ETBI. In Norway, it's Phonics. In Malta, we have the Directorate for Research, Lifelong Learning and Employability, which sits within the Ministry of Education and Employment. And then our research partners, WIT, are sort of acting as our sort of independent evaluators throughout the project. So they're leading the research arm of it. So I guess the timeline of the project and where we have been, what we've been doing over the last few months. So we started off a research phase in 2019. So this was, we conducted a literature review in each of the countries, as well as WIT led a mapping survey to see, where assessment tools and apps sit currently within each country in terms of awareness, how often people use them, where they use them. And we also started work on developing the prototype. And that carried on through into 2020. Obviously, COVID switched things up a bit and pushed timelines back. And so we were supposed to start the field research in, I think it was April or May this year, but this has now been pushed back into October, November this year. So we finalised the prototype over the last couple of months during COVID, which was quite exciting, and it kept me very busy. So I was delighted with that. We're now looking to move into the research phase, where we'll then get feedback on the tool, we'll test it with the target audience, and then refine that prototype, create adaptation guidelines, and look at then a communications model and toolkit to wrap around that product and hopefully roll it out with our final conference in 2022. So I guess where we're at now is we've done a lot of work over the last 6 to 7 months, developing the prototype, which I'm going to share with you shortly. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we've been doing and how much sort of, I guess, research and time and thought has gone into creating this app. So we went through a huge initial research phase, and that involved workshops, conversations with practitioners, experts, and we've been working very closely with our developers, LearnMate, who are EdTech Research and Innovation Centre, and so we've obviously incorporated their expertise as well. So within that, we created the persona, so that was the target audience, the over 25 target group, and that really informed that research, and that persona really then informed the initial tool design. From there, we went into a sort of scenario development phase, storyboard development, and I'll show you a bit of that later on in terms of what I mean by the scenarios, and then the animation aspect, before leading into, I guess, looking and curating the databases in terms of our learning opportunities that we have in each of the different countries, as well as the language and cultural adaptations that we had to undertake for Norway and Malta. So this, in a nutshell, is what we've created. So we've developed an app that is a sort of scenario-based, task-based, reflective assessment experience using a multimodal format. So we're trying to encourage learners to think about how they would do with specific real-world tasks, something that is relevant to them, and they see in their daily lives. You know, it's not something alien to them. So in each task, we incorporate the three different skills that we're looking at within the app is literacy, numeracy, and digital. And we try to incorporate those in each of the tasks, an element in each, because really, you know, the skills don't sit, you know, they don't sit out individually. They are all as one. Yeah. So then once a learner has gone through this experience, they'll then be presented with a learning pathway. So this will highlight to them relevant online and local learning opportunities, as well as giving them an indication of like where their strengths are. So they'll see a nice visual where they'll be able to see, okay, their strength is in computers, but perhaps they need to work on their reading and writing or maths skills. So I hope that gives you, I guess, a brief introduction into, I guess, what we've been doing over the last few months, and I guess a bit of background into the project and what we've been trying to do. So I will now jump into the actual product. I'm going to switch screens, so give me 2 seconds there. Sorry about this, everyone. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so this is Frank. So Frank is our avatar and our guide throughout the check-in takeoff experience. In Norway, we have Petra, and in Malta, we have Maria. So I'm just going to play our how-to video. So this is the screen that the learner will arrive at, I guess the home page. Pretty simple, just an introduction to who Frank is, the how to use button, and just simply sort of, I guess it explains in a nutshell what we're trying to do, trying to check a learner's skills and discover their strengths and help them find learning options so they can improve their skills and learn new ones. We're looking at 3 key areas, so computers, maths, reading and writing. And I guess this is an important thing that came up a lot in the research is around learners and time. So we wanted to put forward and promote the idea that it only takes 10 minutes. It's something quick and simple for people to use and to do. So I'm just going to play the how to use video, which gives a good, I guess, in a nutshell experience as to what we're trying to achieve and what the app is trying to achieve. So let that play.
I'm Frank, and I'm here to show you how the Check-in Takeoff app can help identify your goals and guide you towards your learning options, all in less than 10 minutes. Discover what reading, writing, maths and computer skills you have. Click on the Get Started button to start your Check-in Takeoff journey and explore your goals and skills through a set of everyday tasks. Choose a goal that you want to explore. You will then be shown a set of 4 everyday tasks. Think about how you would do this task before answering some questions. We will always show you the answer if you want to check it. Go through the task questions by using the buttons shown at the bottom of the app. You will be asked to decide whether you could complete this task and how difficult you would find it. You will be asked what part of the task you found difficult. You will be asked if the task is easier with help. At the end of your check-in takeoff journey, you will be able to work out what your skills are and where they can take you. The bigger the balloon, the stronger your skill is. We'll help you find courses that match your skills, and then you can decide what might be right for you. Ready to go? Click Get Started and get ahead with Check-in Takeoff.
So that's what we'll do. We'll get started. So the first page that you're brought to when you click the Get Started button is to pick your goal. So this formed an important part of the design of the app, and it really was around that sort of learner-centered approach. So we wanted learners to think about and reflect, where they are now and where they want to go. Goal setting is a key motivational process, and we wanted to sort of, I guess, put the learner at the center of the equation in the app by creating an experience that is relevant and meaningful to their literacy and numeracy and digital needs. So we wanted to sort of connect their unmet needs with the reality of their daily lives. And by sort of choosing a goal and setting a goal that, that's something that they have reflected on, that they want to improve on in their lives, that we would then be able to motivate them to take the next step. So, in that if I want to, help with my children's learning, well, if I improve my digital or numeracy or literacy skills, so my reading and writing or computer skills, and whatever that might be, I will then be able to attain my goal. And we were hoping that would motivate them to take that next step. So a lot of these goals came through the initial research phase of the project. A number of workshops were held with practitioners and experts in the field, and we then also validated the findings around, I guess, the motivations and needs and desires and wants of a learner. We validated by conducting telephone interviews with that target audience to make sure that these goals resonated with them. So there's 8 goals in total. So help with my children's learning, be more independent and confident. And as you can see, find work or a better job, find out what skills I have, and so on and so on. And they're divided into sort of 4, I guess, key areas, with more sort of personal, sort of the green here would be the more personal sort of personal development side of things, economic, educational here in the yellow, and then the social area. So we're just going to click into this one, be able to take part in activities with family and friends. So this will then bring us into 4 tasks, sort of self-assessment tasks, and these are mapped to the NQF levels 1 to 4 and EQF levels 1 to 3, and it increases in the level increases as each task goes. So task 1 is mapped to NQF level 1, EQF level 1, and so on and so on. So the learner will be brought to the first task, and I'm just going to let that play and then talk you through the next bit.
You are meeting a friend at Connolly Station at 11 a.m. You have to take the bus from Malahide to Connolly Station. You have the bus timetable saved on your phone. Look at the bus timetable on your phone and decide if you can select the bus that will allow you to arrive at Connolly Station a few minutes before 11 o'clock. Think about how you would do this task. Keep watching if you want to see the answers.
So at this point here, the learner would think about the task and then think about the question they're being asked. So in this task, selecting the bus that will allow me to arrive in Connolly Station just a few minutes before 11 is very difficult, a little difficult, or easy. And so we just have a simple drag button that the learner can then drag across. So in this instance, if you click a little difficult, or very difficult, you're brought through to a range of questions. If the learner at this point goes, do you know what, I think I can do that, I think that's an easy task for me. If they click easy, then they go straight into the task number 2, scenario number 2. So that is what I'm going to do now. And then this will bring us into scenario number 2.
You would like to go to Rome, Italy for your summer holiday with 2 friends. Decide if you can find weather information for Rome online, and then look at the weather forecast graph and decide if you can select the month with the least chance of rain. Think about how you would do this task. Keep watching if you want to see the answers.
So in this instance, we're trying to select the month with the least chance of rain by looking at the weather forecast graph. So I'm going to click a little difficult and click next. So this will bring me into a question around like what would I find difficult about this task? And this is where it breaks the task down into the 3 different skills. So the numeracy, the literacy, and digital. So whether I found reading the text difficult, which is the literacy, interpreting the graph, numeracy, or finding the weather information for Rome online, so the digital. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I found interpreting the graph difficult, and I'm going to click next. So this will bring us into a series of questions, and this is around, I guess, assessing the learner in a sort of a broader dimension of learning, and acknowledging the fact that learning takes place in a range of settings under a broader range of circumstances. So within these questions, we're sort of looking at the independence, confidence, and fluency that a learner would have in relation to this task. So here, for instance, we'd be asking the learner, would you need help with this task? And this is around independence, whether they would feel comfortable doing this by themselves. And this allows, I guess, at the end of the experience, I guess, a richer feedback and more in-depth feedback and relevant feedback to the learner in terms of their development. So I'm going to put no for this. So if I click, would you need help with this task? And I'll click no, and then next. It'll then ask me if I feel comfortable doing this task in public. So that's around confidence, and I'm going to select yes. And then here, this is around the fluency and the speed, whether I'm able to do the task quickly. And I'm going to say, would it take you less than 5 minutes to complete this task? And I'm going to say yes. You'll see here down at the bottom, if at any point a learner wants to skip this task, they can. And they can also, if they've had enough, or they feel like they've got enough from the experience, they can click to go to the results straight away. So we're trying to, I guess, give the option to learners that they can still get the results even if they've decided to exit from the experience halfway through. And this is the 3rd task.
Your friends are coming to your house for dinner. You want to make spaghetti bolognese for them, and you want to check if anyone is allergic to any of the ingredients. Read the recipe and decide if you can text your friends the ingredients and adjust the quantities in the recipe to serve 8 people. Think about how you would do this task. Keep watching if you want to see the answers.
So in this task, we're asking, is texting the ingredients to my friends and adjusting the quantities in the recipe to serve 8 people is very difficult, a little difficult, and easy. And in this instance, I'm going to select difficult. So again, it'll bring me to this question, asking what aspect of the task did I find difficult. So reading the recipe, adjusting the quantities, texting the ingredients to my friend, or none. So I am going to click the literacy aspect, which is reading the recipe. And again, it'll bring me to these series of questions, in which I will answer. And this is the final task.
You are creating a community garden and you want to build a patio area 5 meters long and 3 meters wide using decking. Your local DIY store is selling planks of wood that are 2 meters long and 0.25 meters wide. To help with the project, you want to ask for volunteers from the community. Decide if you can calculate the area of the patio and work out how much decking you will need to buy, and share photos of the garden on Facebook, inviting your neighbors to help. Think about how you would do this task. Keep watching if you want to see the answers.
And there we go, that's the final task. I guess just to add that we also have, because obviously as these tasks get sort of more complex as we go, we do have the pause function here, and learners can always rewind through the video and the animation just to see you know, if they need to go back and look at it again, etc. So in this task, we're being asked to count if calculating the area of the patio, working out how much decking you need, and sharing photos on Facebook is either very difficult, a little difficult, or easy. So in this instance, I'm going to stay on very difficult. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to click the numeracy element and the digital element of the task. So would I need help with this task? And I'm going to click yes. If you click yes with these questions, you don't get brought through to the other questions around confidence and fluency. So we're then brought through to the results page. So here we have the results visualization. So these balloons are dynamic. So the balloons will grow and shrink based on how the learners have self-assessed. So through the pathway that I've just taken there, my computer skills came up quite strong. So you'll see, and I only had difficulty in the level 4 tasks, so level 3 tasks you do that. So that's why that balloon is slightly bigger than, say, reading and writing and maths, which are kind of equal in terms of size. But my strength really is in the computers skills, so my digital skills. So we reinforce, I guess, the goal, or link it back to the goal that was selected at the beginning of the experience. So well done, you've taken the first step towards achieving your goal of being able to take part in activities with family and friends. And as we scroll down here, we'll see we've given sort of, I guess, more text around, language around the results. So to take the next step in achieving my goal, the learning pathway is recommending that I need to brush up on my math skills, but also I can reach my goal by developing my reading, writing and computer skills to do these tasks faster and without help. And then what we offer to the learner is these, and in Ireland, this is how it works in Ireland, in Norway and Malta it's slightly different, but in Ireland what we're doing is we're offering the online courses first. So to brush up, this is on the numeracy. So we're offering a numeracy course option to the learner. So if we click into there, it gives a brief description of the course available and then contact information. And down here, this would link through to the website if they want more information. And as they scroll down, obviously then we have further develop. That links into the level 3 literacy need that the learner identified, and then the level 4 as well, relating to the digital skills need that they identified. You'll see that the numeracy pops up here at level 2. Even though identified, obviously at level 4, I'd have numeracy difficulties as well, but we'll only bring up relevant courses at the level, I guess, at the first level that the learner has identified. So if they identify a difficulty at level 2 with numeracy, we won't then later on bring up level 4 courses, level 3 courses. So we also give this option where the learner can look for learning opportunities in their area. So at the moment, we only have, we're going to broaden this out on Ireland to, I think it's 34, 35 different areas. We only have 5 areas at the moment in the database, just so I can show you what it'll look like. But to choose your area, so let's go, say I'm from Limerick. We will then bring up relevant courses that are within Limerick. Again, relating to whatever level that the learner has identified. So if we pop into here, you'll see there's a course on level 2, cooking and baking to develop your math skills. And that gives, I guess, information on when the course starts, contact, telephone number. And again, if we click on here, it would take us out to the Fetch course database, and to that page on the website with more details on it. So I'm going to click back to results and just show you one last thing. So we have a download. So this downloads a JPEG for the learner to be able to save, automatically save. It will automatically save into their phone, into their gallery. So we did toy around having sort of a detailed PDF with all the different details in it, but we've gone for a JPEG because we thought this was something easy to use, easy for someone to refer to, and easy for someone to be able to share or show someone. And it's something that they can keep going back to and referring to, just to see, I guess, how they did. And maybe it'll allow them to think back and go, okay, maybe I'll have a look at that, and then go and take that next step to sign up to a course. And they also have the option to start over again. So you could go all the way back and have another go and pick a different goal. So I hope that makes sense to everyone, and I'm just going to flip back to my presentation before I take any questions, just to give you an idea of, I guess that's where we are now. We've developed the prototype. We've developed the prototype for Norway and Malta, so there are slight variations in terms of, I guess, cultural adaptations to the different task scenarios. But now we're at a stage where I guess it's the next step in the project, which is our field research. So we wanted to take these prototypes and we want to establish the extent to which the tool orients the learner towards these learning opportunities that we'll be presenting to them, and garnering the learner's views on the use of the tool. So this field research is going to take place in 10 organisations in each country, with a minimum of 20 participants in each site. And we're going to get the participants to use, interact with the app, with the tool, and complete an online survey. We're then going to, so that's in October this year, and then we will be conducting follow-up focus groups in 6 of the sites with a maximum of 10 participants. So that'll be a more in-depth analysis and feedback opportunity where we'll be spending about an hour with participants really delving into different aspects of the app. And then in 2021, we'll be then looking at following up with all those participants with an online survey to really see the impact of the app and whether they've actually availed of any learning opportunities on the back of their experience. So I guess that's our timeline over the next while. So we're just preparing field research over the next month, entering then the field research period in October, November, which goes into a period of write-up and reporting that thankfully sits with WIT, and we'll then have that field research report finalised in April, where we will then go back to our development partners, Learnovate, and hopefully make adaptations to the prototype based on that feedback. So thank you very much for listening to me and having a look at the app, and I hope it gave you a good idea of what we've been doing over the last few months. Apologies for the little technical difficulties in my screen freezing, but I'll open the floor up to any questions that people might have.